Hey everybody, last week I did an Avengers vs. X-Men video that showcased the X-Men and what led up to their role in this big event. But I thought I'd try one with the Avengers this week. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each book because there's a lot of them, but I'm going to run over the important things you need to know to get ready. And it all starts with Avengers Disassembled. What made this book special was that not only was it Brian Michael Bendis' first Avengers story, which he's been writing it ever since, this came out in 2003, but it kind of was the end of an era. The original Avengers were gone. Cap, Thor, Iron Man. It was all ruined by the Scarlet Witch, who, if you don't know, is Magneto's daughter. She was an Avenger since '68, I think. A powerful mutant telepath, and she just went a little crazier this time and killed a couple of their members. So it took the combined forces of all of the Avengers, anyone who's ever been an Avenger. I don't know if you can see there, that's a lot of people. They take her down, and she's whisked away by Magneto, never to be seen again. Right. Well, 6 months later, the Avengers break up. Didn't last, never does, these are comic books, and it brings us to New Avengers. Now what this did is it took more of a modern, gritty, almost urban level approach to the Avengers. Instead of capes and costumes fighting aliens and stuff, it changed the group up. Cap and Iron Man were still there, but now you get people like Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Spider-Woman, Wolverine, a couple others that had never been on the team before. This is the #1 selling trade paperback, and I've been doing this for many years. Comics MD can't keep this in stock, so check it out. It's got fantastic artwork by David Finch, who, if you're familiar with him, also does Batman the Dark Knight right now. But that's enough out of that. This signaled a new age for the Avengers, and everything seemed to be going well. Until the Scarlet Witch came back, bringing us to House of M. Now there's a lot more here than I can really do justice because it's a pretty involved story, but the short version is that Scarlet Witch remade Earth as a mutant utopia. Humans were the oppressed minority. And at the end of it, of course, the good guys win. The mutant population is decimated. If you want a little bit more of that, check my other video. But at the end of it, the Avengers assume she's dead, and the mutants are pretty much removed from any kind of mainstream Marvel stuff for several years. So, with the X-Men kind of off doing their own thing, the superheroes get a little complacent. And where complacency comes politics, bringing us to Civil War. And this is written by Mark Millar, who did Kick-Ass, Nemesis. He's currently doing the Secret Service and Super Crooks. Pretty much the hottest name in comics right now. And for those of you, for the 5 or 6 of you who don't know what the story was about, Iron Man supports a law that states that all superheroes must train and register with the government to be, you know, safer and better for mankind. Well, Captain America doesn't see it that way. He sees it as an unconstitutional breach of privacy. And, long story short, they fight. Now this kind of drove a wedge in between the core superhero groups that really hasn't healed, not fully anyway. But with Cap out of the picture for a little while after this and Iron Man running the show, things seem like they're on the right track until the Skrulls show up, bringing us to Secret Invasion. And this one was a pretty straightforward crossover. You didn't know who was a Skrull or who wasn't. The Skrulls are a shape-shifting alien race. But the main thing that made this book important was at the end of it, the winning shot that saved the war was Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. He rose to power, basically becoming an evil version of Nick Fury, but fully supported by the government. And for about a year, the Marvel Universe was under what was called the Dark Reign, in which supervillains ran the country and superheroes were on the run. You know, to simplify it. But the event that kind of brought everything back into line with what we all know and love was Siege. This seemed like the culmination of a lot of different things, kind of almost an epilogue to the Civil War. This was actually my favorite crossover of the last 10 years. And it involved all of the superheroes putting aside their differences, Captain America returned from the grave to help out his buddies, Thor, Iron Man, all the good guys. And at the end of it, Norman Osborn is overthrown and a new heroic age begins. As you can see there, everybody's happy. But nothing lasts forever, especially in comic books. So there was somebody that everybody thought was dead. Scarlet Witch. Well, she wasn't dead. We knew that. And that brings us to the final chapter of today's lesson, Avengers: The Children's Crusade. Now this one I can't show you anything on the inside. One, because it's shrink wrapped, and number two, because it's so new, I really don't want to spoil a lot about it. But it features everybody from the Young Avengers, who coincidentally, or uncoincidentally, depending how you want to look at it, have two of her children's reincarnated souls as members of the team. It's not as convoluted as I'm making it out to be, and it was a really great story. You can see the artwork is terrific. And at the end of it, well, Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, is put back onto the table, but she says she's out. She wants nothing to do anymore. So, the last thing that happened before Avengers vs. X-Men was Nova, who, if you don't know who that is kind of a space cop, kind of like the Green Lantern Corps. There's the Nova Corps. He sees the Phoenix Force heading towards Earth, and he comes to warn Captain America. And Captain America knows that Hope Summers, who, check out the X-Men video, she is summoning, possibly subconsciously drawing the Phoenix Force to Earth. And will it get her? Will Captain America and the Avengers succeed in taking her into custody for her protection? Well, we'll have to find out. Issue number 3 comes out next week, and so far this has been a huge hit. So, hopefully this gives you a little idea of the kind of stuff that you missed, and maybe something you might want to check out. Next Saturday is going to be Free Comic Book Day, that's the 5th of May, and everything in the store will be 20% off, including new stuff, graphic novels, cards, games, you name it. And we'll have lots of free stuff to give away too, so come and check us out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see if I do any more of these.